the saddest stories that I have ever read in my entire life was the Ocean Gate disaster. It is probably one of the few stories where I've read it and it's actually made me broke up. And I'm not a very energetic guy, I guess you could say, when it comes to reading stuff like this. Like if I see like the Titanic story, I'm like, okay, that's a sad story about the Titanic, but it doesn't bring me to tears reading about the Titanic. Where the Ocean Gate story really made me get worked up about it because there was just so many random coincidences behind it and so many random things that kind of led up to what was going on with the Ocean Gate story that makes it like very very emotional in my opinion. If you don't know what the Ocean Gate disaster was, it's basically 2 years ago people were going into a dive to the Titanic to basically, I don't remember exactly if it was to recover things or to take a tour or both, but it was to dive under the ocean. And the day before, a YouTuber got on the boat with them and it was like very foggy. And they basically were like, wow, I don't think we should do this. This seems extremely dangerous. Like the fog alone is dangerous enough. Like we could get lost down there, you know? We could drift off course, we could get lost. And, the how the YouTuber describes it is almost as a supernatural experience, I guess you could say, where he was like, there was just something telling me he shouldn't go. And then the day after, either the day after or a couple days after, the original crew decided to still go on this dive down to the Titanic, and their sub basically lost control and became too pressurized, and unfortunately the lives of several people going on to this expedition basically lost their lives. And it's one of those stories where genuinely there's so many coincidences, so many random things, so many small details that happen that every step and stone, I guess you could say, is crazy behind it. Where it's so hard to imagine. It's one of those things where people genuinely would say it's fake almost because of how much of coincidences happen behind it. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because now, apparently 2 years after this disaster happened, more people want to do this again. And I think this is a absolutely ridiculous idea. I think we should personally, as the world or something like that, until our technology becomes 10 times more advanced, we should ban the exploration, at least around the Titanic. I genuinely think that maybe there is something around the Titanic. I'm not saying supernatural or something like that. Maybe there is, I don't know, right? But there's definitely something wrong with the water around where the Titanic crashed. And I don't mean just oh, there was an iceberg or, oh, something like that. I mean, the water pressure in there and the water pressure, the fog, every single little detail that comes around about the Titanic seems to be just 10 times worse than the water around it for some reason. And I'm not 100% sure why, but I think just risking more innocent lives to basically explore the Titanic just really isn't worth it at this current stage in time of scientific discoveries, right? Because this exploring the Titanic is going to do absolutely nothing for the world. It's just not. Maybe we might discover some new water systems or something like that. Maybe if I am correct with something going on in the water in particular, but it's just crazy to me that this is getting to the point where almost it's becoming a graveyard, essentially. You have the Titanic, you have the Ocean Gate disaster, and now you have more people who want to go down and explore it and do basically the exact same thing that Ocean Gate did, so that way they can, I guess, have a thrill, you know? And obviously, it's not my life at the end of the day, and I can't really speak on it too much. But I think allowing people to potentially throw away their lives is a little bit ridiculous because it's not like you're going skydiving, right? Because if you go skydiving, there's 5 sets of things set in place that are supposed to like help you and make sure that you're safe in skydiving, right? You have to take classes. You have to take classes for the classes. You have to do a bunch of dives with people. You gotta do like all these steps. You have extra parachutes. It's like the percentage of the parachute not pulling is already low, and then the percentage that the second one doesn't pull is already super super low as well. So it's like there's that thrill seeking that aspect there, but there's not a lot of risk anymore in skydiving. Where when it comes to anything at the very bottom of the ocean or in space, is still at this point in time, humans just we're not advanced enough for it. We can't even explore the very bottom of the ocean like by ourselves, Like we can't send someone to the very bottom of the ocean where like the Titanic is without being in a submarine, and we have to hope that that submarine holds up, right? Because not even like military vessels travel as deep as a lot of these things go, essentially. So I think it's absolutely crazy to me why we would want to potentially put more innocent lives in danger to basically have like a billionaire chase like his dream of like seeing the Titanic up close. Like I don't know, maybe get a new dream. Maybe make your dream like go to the moon or something. I feel like that's more realistic than this. Isn't there already ways that you can like pay to go up into space? If I remember correctly, like you can literally like go into like the upper atmosphere or something like that, and the upper atmosphere, I mean, basically looks like space. But like I don't know. I think we need to do more scientific research on stuff like this, and I'll show you guys the article too, just to break it up a little bit. But so a mystery billionaire is reportedly planning to dive to the Titanic shipwreck in a couple of weeks, 2 years on from the Titan sub disaster, and apparently it's been closed off the entire time. Like they've like apparently made it essentially illegal to dive down there after the disaster a couple of years ago. The Titanic and its shipwreck has for years been a fascination for many. There are tons of documentaries about the sinking, and experts believe there are still plenty of artifacts on the ocean floor. What artifacts? What is there on the ocean floor currently that is like a actual lost artifact that was on the Titanic? Like, let's be for real here. We're not talking about like, oh, we got uh we got Blackbeard's treasure at the bottom of the ocean right here, and it's like thick gold coins the size of your eyeball. Like we're not talking about that. We're talking about probably like a dress that's been ripped to shreds over the years. We're talking about like a broken wheel, Like I think they just have this idea in their head that I guess this is going to be like some fantasy dream trip. I don't know. And obviously, like I said, he can do whatever he wants at the end of the day, or she, or whoever it is, right, that is trying to do this expedition to the bottom of the ocean. But this is just a little bit too wacky to me. I don't think we should allow anybody to be diving under a certain amount in the ocean, honestly. Like if our military, if our government can't even do it, why are we thinking that some random guy that probably is just going to buy a submarine is going to be able to do it? You know? And that's kind of the thing that doesn't make sense is like it requires us so much equipment, so much time, so much effort to even explore basic stuff like the Mariana Trench, right? And I think we just discovered like everything at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and we've been searching that thing for like 20 years, bro. Like, it's just crazy to me. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's a silly idea to just like let people potentially risk their lives essentially to dive down and see the shipwreck of the Titanic, or maybe you just don't really care, or maybe you're just like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing. I don't know, but I think if this does happen, please be safe, bro. Like, I don't know if they're gonna see this video. I don't know who's gonna see this video, but if you're gonna be a part of that crew, try to be as safe as possible because the water pressure is no joke. It takes one slip up, one accidental button press, one whatever, and it it's going down, you know. And the ocean is very very dangerous in that way. I mean, if people who were in the Navy, my friends who were in the Navy, tell me about it all the time. Where like there is stuff out there in the ocean that is just like unexplainable water pools, waves, whatever that rock the boat the wrong way, tilt it the wrong way. I mean, stuff happens to them and they're on the boat, bro. So that's just kind of my 2 cents about it, though. Yeah, just something I want to rant about today because I did see the ocean disaster a little while back, and it was probably one of the first articles I've read in a very long time. Where like genuinely, I was like shocked reading it because I didn't even know what happened. You know, especially learning about that the guy basically had a near death experience in it as well. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe, everybody. Peace.